Hi, welcome back to InDesign CC 2021 Classroom Book Chapter 8. This is part 2 of working with typography. When we just finished out, we had just barely added this straddle head to our recipe. So let's go ahead and dive back in. Now we're going to go ahead and adjust those columns. So let's go ahead and grab our type tool. And let's go right in before this nutritional facts. And let's make this bounce to the next row. So let's go type, insert special character. We want to go ahead and insert a character. We want to do a break character, which is a column break. So it's going to pop that over to the next side. Let's do Control S and save. So the next thing we're going to do is play with our paragraph alignment. So let's go ahead to our view bit page, or bit page and window. Let's go ahead and grab our type tool and click up here to our bite of delight. And let's do Control plus and zoom in a couple times. So let's go now into our paragraph panel and align that as a center. And let's go to our first paragraph of the story. It starts the heart-shaped fruit. And let's do a edit, select all. So we grab all of it. And let's go ahead and do justify with the last line aligned, which is the fourth one over here. Should see the little thing pop up. All right, then we want to go down to chocolate covered strawberries. And let's go ahead and center that one as well. Let's do an edit, deselect all, and a Control S to save. So now we want to go ahead and hang our punctuation outside of the margin. So in order to make this quote look a little bit better, we're going to go ahead and move these quotes right outside so that our figures all line up together. So let's go ahead with our selection tool. And let's grab this frame that's got the heart-shaped fruit. Let's go to type and then story. And let's go ahead and turn on optical alignment and go ahead and make it 14 points. So see how it just cleans it up just a little bit. And let's go ahead and close that and do a Control S and save. All right, so next thing we're going to do is create a drop cap. So let's make the beginning of this paragraph look a little bit better. Let's go with our type tool. Let's click here in heart-shaped fruit. Let's come down here to our paragraph panel and go to the fifth one down. It says drop cap number of lines, and let's go ahead and drop it 2 lines. And you can actually drop the number of letters as well if you wanted to make the entire word. So there's different ways of playing with that. I just want the H. All right, so now let's go ahead and play with just that H. Let's select the H and let's go to our fill and make it green instead. Let's go ahead and click on our pasteboard, make sure nothing's selected, and a Control S and save. So now we're going to go ahead and adjust tracking and kerning. So remember, tracking is letters, and kerning increases and decreases how words are put together on a page. So let's go and track our bite of delight up here. So let's go ahead with our type tool. And let's go ahead and select it, the whole thing, by clicking 3 times. Let's go to our character panel. And let's go ahead and choose tracking. So V/A is our tracking. And let's go ahead and bounce that up to 100. So it's going to make a lot more space in between those letters. All right, now let's go into strawberries. And let's click the entire thing. And let's do a -20 in the tracking field. So we've got to actually do it by hand. There we go, -20. And now we want to give just a little bit more tracking in between these two, the S and the T. So we're going to hit Alt and left arrow or Option and left arrow. And see, it's going to make it come in just a little bit more. So we're just going to do that 3 times. So now it brings that S and T even a little bit more close together, which is even better. We love it. So now let's hit our pasteboard, deselect all, Control S and save. So let's go ahead and adjust our line breaks. So right now you can see that what we've got is justified. That doesn't always work, depends on kind of the look and feel you're trying to establish for what you're putting together. So one of the first things we can do is grab our type tool and click in this heart-shaped fruit. And let's do an edit, select all. And let's come down here to the paragraph menu and click off hyphenate. So you can see you've got a few different ways of putting that together. You could also hyphenate and choose how many letters you're going to hyphenate. I generally choose to turn hyphenation off, but that's me. But if you did want to choose how many, let's go ahead and somehow it's not giving me this. Oh, we have to go to the paragraph menu. All right, come down here to hyphenation. There you go. All right, now you're going to get preview. And let's go ahead and say that we want words with at least 5 letters. 2, 2, 2, and let's make this one 2 as well. So you can kind of see how it changes how you're hyphenating. I'm going to go ahead and tell it not to hyphenate at all and say OK. Let's go ahead and leave it all selected. Let's go to a Control Shift L, which will left align. So Control Shift L, or that's a Shift Command L if you're on a Mac. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and make that stop. All right, let's do a Control S and save just in case my computer decides to do something weird. All right, let's go ahead and insert some manual line breaks. So let's go ahead to our quote, and let's, with our type tool, come here right before of, so that we can get rid of this little orphan of P's, and do a type, and then insert break character, and do a forced line break. So that's going to go ahead and move that. So now we've got kind of this in that's looking a little bit weird. So let's go to in and let's do shift enter or shift return. All right, let's edit, deselect all. And we actually want to center all that. So let's go ahead and select the whole thing 4 times and center the whole thing. All right, now let's do a Control S and save. So the next thing we're going to do is set some tabs down here at the bottom. So in your standard book report, you'd have tabs every point, every half an inch, which it can be way too big for what we're trying to do. So sometimes we need to kind of do something a little bit different. So let's go to type, show hidden characters. And so now we get to see all those little hidden characters that are going on. Let's go ahead and make sure we're in our normal mode. We can see everything going on. Let's grab our type tool and come in right here before serving size and highlight all the way through protein. Let's go type and tabs to open up that tabs table palette. And we want to go ahead and choose the tabs panel right justified tab, which is the 3rd arrow down. And we want to type 2 in the X box here. And then on leader, we want to put a little period and hit tab. And so now we get those dot leaders. So you didn't have to push dot a whole bunch of times. It automatically pushed it over to the right-hand side. It's a much cleaner way to do this if you're going to do some type of dot leaders. So let's go edit, deselect all, selection, Control S and save. All right, so now we're going to create a numbered list with a hanging indent. So we want to be able to number these steps. Let's go with our type tool. Come from wash strawberries down to place and set. Let's come over here to our properties panel. Let's go to bullets and numbering and hit this numbered bullets and numbering. It's going to automatically do all the hanging indents. It's going to make it perfect. It's going to make it a lot easier. So make sure you're using that properties panel whenever possible to create those elements. And let's go ahead and do a Control S and save. Oh, not Control, Escape. Control S and save. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close this tabs. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of color here behind this chocolate covered strawberries. Let's grab our type and tables. Let's go ahead and select the whole section. Let's come down here to our paragraph panel. We've got one here that says shading. And let's go ahead and make that shading strawberry red. So instead of having to draw extra boxes, all you're doing is using the software to your advantage. And now we're going to come up here to the top to our a bite of delight, and we're going to add some information or add a little bit of a rule to it. Remember, a rule is a line. So let's grab our type tool. Let's grab the whole bite of delight. Let's come here to our paragraph rules up here. And paragraph rules means lines, not instructions. Make sure your preview is turned on. Let's go ahead and make it a weight of 8. Rule on. And we want rule below. And we want rule on. We want it to be 8 points. We want the type to be the white diamond. We want the color to be stem green. And we want the offset to be 0.0625. All right. And let's say OK. So now we have this kind of line underneath our thing. So now let's do a Control S and save. Let's do a Control minus. Let's do a view, fit spread and window, and take a peek at, let's go to our normal mode, our preview mode, and see everything that we did. So we added a rule here. We added, nothing should be selected. We added our strawberries, played with our kerning and leading here. We played with the quote, added some funky ligatures and glyphs, created an ornament, took that recipe from being one single column to multiple columns. We added glyphs, we added numbered list, we added some leading. So you can see there's a lot of different things that you can do in this one that can really help you become a better designer. So let's do a file and package. And let's go ahead and package it. Make sure it's in your lesson 8 folder. Change that word folder to PKG and say package. Let's come out here to, once it's done, come to our package, to our chapter 8. Package has our fonts, it has our IDML, our INDD, a PDF, we're good to go. Right click, send to compressed folder, or just zip the folder if you're on a Mac. And make sure that this is the one you're going to go ahead and turn in. And I hope you learned some cool typography tricks in chapter 8.